So speak to us about the importance of lifestyle and diet.
Vitally important in Spain. What you eat, how you eat, very, very, very important. Nutrition, particularly when you're doing your pre-season training. You, it's important that players eat properly. We would start with breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'd leave for training by 8:45. We'd train from 9 o'clock to 10:15. 10:15 as we're walking off the field. There's fruit juices, waters, uh, liquids, and that sort of stuff. And then we'll go back to our hotel, straight to the gym, and then a proper lunch, and proper dinners. And then there's snacks left on tables in corridors for players, like nuts, little biscuits, water, liquids, juices, all that sort of stuff. Nuts is a big part of the diet. And just in general, I think the Spanish eat very healthily. Their portions are generally not very big. And why should it be? I mean, you can always go back for more if you want some more. And there was always enough food. So nutrition, very, very, very important. Um, and of course your lifestyle. I mean, there's not much of partying going on. You stay in the camp. It's only once we move to India after our pre-season that players are allowed to do as they please, obviously within reason. And don't forget, professional players understand that if they're not living their lives properly, it's going to show in their performances. So it's vitally important that you do everything within reason.
So how important is the attitude of the player in directly translating to their success?
It's it's absolutely imperative. If a player does not perform, he's going to lose his job, lose his contract. What's going to enhance his performance is his work ethic. And you know that there are certain things that may trouble you through a game. If, for instance, it was for goalkeepers, maybe it's crosses. And these days, crosses aren't played like in my day, where it was just one type of cross that was played into the box. Now it's whipped in, it goes away from goalkeepers, goes towards goalkeepers, it's different heights. So you've got to work at those things. You've got to understand that training sessions don't always provide for all of that aspect of the game. So the certain things that trouble you, you need to work on yourself after hours, after you finish training. That's how it works, particularly with goalkeepers. I remember when I was playing pre-season, right after our pre-season sessions, I'd go back and work with a football. But nobody told me to do that. I knew that I needed to do it.
So I just want to ask you, to digress for a small while, how important is it in today's game that a goalkeeper is able to use his feet?
Vitally important. For the last 3-4 years, I've been trying to tell a lot of our goalkeepers to start receiving back passes outside their box. When I was on a course at St. George's in the UK a couple of years ago, one of the lectures was based on that. And in fact, I had a visitor, a former player that came from the UK, played in South Africa for Arcadia, and then went back and played for Leeds. And he was working at a club just around the corner from St. George's and came to visit me during this lecture. And the lecturer spoke about a game. It was Swindon playing against somebody else. And this mate of mine was at that game, and he then partook in the lecture and explained to everybody that he noticed a distinct difference in the two teams. The one where the goalkeeper had been worked on in terms of using his feet. They played much higher up. And I've always believed that that's the way to go, because what it does do, it tends to push everybody up and on a bit, and it closes those spaces down in between, and doesn't allow those spaces for opposition to exploit. So I think it's vitally important. Goalkeepers, I used to, part of my exercises, even in Spain, was using their feet, goalkeepers. So a big part of our warm up and some of our exercises were using your feet, passing balls, and building it up, to get to a point where you can pass a 60-meter pinpoint pass. I believe it makes such a difference to the entire team.
On that point, how important is cross training for that kind of aspect or scenario?
Well, I think these days all players need to be able to do a whole host of things. I don't think it's just one particular aspect. But I think with goalkeeping and with the using your feet, I think they need to be able to play out proper, almost like an outfield player. Gone are the days in my day when if goalkeepers couldn't kick, couldn't pass, it didn't really matter. Now it does. It's a very important aspect of the modern game.